Hello! Welcome to today's watercolor forest tutorial where we will be painting sun rays through the trees. We will be painting in a fairly quick and loose style. So come on, let's paint! Today's material is 100% cotton paper. The colors Myan yellow, permanent red, burnt umber, Paynes Grey and a blue. And I'm using a big mop brush for the most part. I'm starting by spraying my paper and then wetting it with my mop brush so that the whole paper has a sheen to it. I start with the color Myan yellow and going in a circle to get the sun and leaving out a bit of white in the middle and doing this circle motion. And after that I'm adding the red to the yellow on my palette, mixing up the color I like. And doing the same thing, going in a circle. And these colors will blend together a little bit. And now I have added some of the burnt umber, blue and Paynes Grey. Maybe even a little bit of the red, I don't remember exactly. But I mixed up a fairly dark color. Now I'm doing the sun rays with a clean brush that I've dried off, and for each stroke you need to see to it that you don't have any color in your brush or wetness, so I'm wiping it off as I go. And here I've decided to add more blue to the painting, more color. And it's still got this sheen to the paper, so I know it's safe to continue adding colors to it. And going further down over a part of the red and yellow also. And here I've wiped off my brush, planning on doing some soft cloudy things. They won't show up that much. This is totally optional if you want to do them or not. And this is supposed to be a yellow color, but I unfortunately had some blue in it, so it became a little bit green, but it doesn't matter. And I'm continuing down with the same mix that I had in the sky with the red and adding more red as I go further down the page. And this paper isn't that big. It's about, well, I don't have the measurements, but say it's about 20 centimeters times 15 or something. Not too big. And it's just because I wanted this to go fairly quickly. And here I'm adding on the rays further down, doing the same thing as before. Here we are starting on the background, and I'm adding a mix of Paynes Grey, a little bit of blue and burnt umber to get a grayish color. You can even mix in a little bit of the red if you want to. And I'm holding the brush really far away from, well, the bristles to get a more loose painting style and not to get too detailed. The further down on your brush, the more details you are prone to adding. And I'm wetting the bottom and wiping it off. I don't want a hard edge at that point. And here I'm going in with even a darker mix of the same colors. and working a bit on the shadow parts, even though I haven't put in the trees yet. And doing some more of the upwards strokes just to get the feel of some trees in the distance. And it doesn't need to be detailed at all. You need to have paper towels on hand the whole time for this painting, since I'm wiping off a lot of the paint and getting back the sun rays. So paper towels is good to have. Here I'm adding even more dark color, and now I'm starting with a tree. And it's the same mix of colors all the time to get this dark color. It's just more or less water and more or less paint, the ratio between the two. So here I'm doing the first tree, and I'm just trying to be loose and expressive with the branches and letting them go in different directions and being different, not all the same kind of branch. And wiping off, and so I get back the sun rays. And here you need to be a little bit quick because the paint can't dry before you wipe off with the tissue. It needs to be wet still. And the paper quality do have importance. I find that the Saunders Waterford, the one I'm using today, actually works better than, let's say, Arches, at least for this, wiping off and getting back the whiteness of the paper. It lifts better too when you use water and lift off paint. But try your paper and see what you think about it, and please let me know in the comments what paper you are using for today's project. I'm continuing adding branches and wiping off where I want the sun rays to be. And going back in with some more paint.
Okay.
And wiping off again. And here we are continuing with another tree. And just painting the branches and the shape of the tree. I don't know if you can hear this, but I have my dishwasher on in the background. I'm sorry for that. And I wipe off for the sun rays again and continue adding on some color. And adding a bit of the shadow for the ground. I'm just building up the painting step by step. And make sure you have the clean part of the tissue, otherwise you will get paint in the rays. And as you can see, when I do the trees, I hold my hand closer to the bristles to get a little bit more control over the brush. And don't use a small brush for this. Instead use, if you have one, use a brush that can hold more paint and water with a fine tip. And adding in the shadows at the same time. And I continue adding more paint so it gets darker. Some parts you don't need to fill everything with the same value. Doing more trees. And I'm purposely doing them really loose and expressive. I don't want to sit and fiddle with them too long. I'm doing the shadow part at the same time as I do the tree, in the same color, getting this sun effect with shadows on the ground. Here I'm adding on some darker in parts of the trees where I want some more shadow. And I'm just continuing adding on more trees where I find I want them. Since there is no reference photo for this, it's just my imagination. I just wanted something where the sun is shining through some trees and with shadows. So this tree is a bit lighter than the other ones because I wanted it to be more in touch with the sun, so to say. So I'm starting off lighter, but I'm going to add in more color in this also. And wiping off where I see I want the sun rays to shine through the tree. And adding more of the darker where I think there will be shadow to have some variation also. I'm doing this painting in real time because I have asked you if you wanted real times or sped up, and many of you want real time videos, so this is one of them. And as you can see, I'm adding more trees, both smaller or bigger trees. And trying to get variety in the branches and sizes, and so it's interesting to look at. And I'm continuing wiping away where I think I want it. Adding more darker color on top. And just making my brush go dance a little bit back and forth. And trying to keep a loose style and not fuss too much. And if you like my video, I would appreciate if you give it a thumbs up or say something in the comments. And if there is something you would like me to do different or explain more why I did what I did, please let me know. And here I'm adding a bigger tree. And sorry for my I have had a cold a couple of weeks ago and it won't leave me alone quite. And here I'm going in with a darker paint right away because this tree is further from the sun. And I'm just adding on. It's gonna be more trees also. And I like these paintings where the sun shines through the forest. I'm a big forest lover, so I paint a lot of forest scenes in different ways. And I'm so longing for the weather to turn to spring instead of winter. But for now, I'm painting the sun. And I'm making more trees and smaller trees in between and above the big ones. And just keep building the painting. And I'm not trying to get everything perfect, or I probably do mistakes. I know one that I would want to change, but next time. This is just a practice painting. It's not meant to hang in galleries. It's just for fun. And I think a lot of paintings should be just for fun. Just because we want to. And as you can see, I'm using more paint and less water, so it looks darker. The value is darker, but it's still the same mix of colors. I haven't changed anything. It's maybe more of the Paynes Grey to make it darker. I don't know if you can hear my dog. He's running back and forth and wondering what's happening outside. And I'm keep adding on trees in the foreground and a bigger one. Letting the sun rays shine through where I think they maybe could. And I must say I'm so thankful for everyone who is joining my channel and watching my videos. A big thank you to all of you. And today I actually reached 1,000 subscribers, so I'm really happy about that. It's really fun that you want to watch what I do. And I love teaching. I must say it's easier to teach in person still, but I'm learning. I'm learning to edit and film and talk and everything. But it's fun. I like it a lot. And I'm thinking maybe to doing something live if there's someone who would like that. I don't know. Please let me know if you have suggestions, what you want to see and how you want it to be presented. I'm really wanting to hear your thoughts. And keep on adding as much trees as you want in your painting, of course. But I like to have a variety of lighter and darker parts, so you get some depth. I find challenging to say depth. Well, you know what I mean. Here I'm going in again with some darker value on the big tree there and adding on some stuff. And later I'm gonna take away a bit, lifting off some paint. I'm gonna show you. And as you probably have guessed already, this is a voiceover, but I left the original sound also. I think it's strange otherwise. And the thing I wish I could have changed is this tree. I think it looks so weird with that big blob of dark paint in the middle. And now for some birds. You need to have a little bit of life. No, you don't need to, but I want to. I like birds in my paintings. And here I'm lifting off a little bit of paint to let the sun rays shine through. And the edge of that tree needed to be a little bit lighter in some parts. And for this and for the birds, I'm using a small round brush. But otherwise, this painting is done with that one big mop brush. And I like them. They hold a lot of paint and water, and I don't need to refill my brushes often. And as you can see here, there's light coming out now from inside of the tree. So I took away some paint. And now taking off the tape, and the painting is done. And I hope you had fun painting this with me. And thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.